Hey yo, what's poppin' everybody? It's your boy C Double G, and today we're gonna be talking all things Luna. We'll be talking about all of her abilities, the best weapons you can use on her, the best reactors and where to get them, and all about her brand new special resource bar. I also have access to both of her red mods, so we're going to take a look at both of them and how they work, and the damage one is a lot of fun. Alright, so Luna is the brand new Descendant that buffs her and her allies with the power of music, and she uses her special gun in order to do that. Now, her special gun is basically a rhythm game, and when you use it, you have to shoot through the rhythm of the notes. And to activate her skills, you have to activate them on beat. Now, if you don't hit any button at all, you don't get punished for it. But if you hit your mouse or your button off beat, then she will lose mana, and she'll lose mana pretty quickly. So you don't want to miss the notes, or else your mana will deplete and you can't use any of your abilities. This is the main source of her kit and how you're going to be using her. So there's a little bit of a skill ceiling, and if you don't want to shoot on rhythm, this might not be the character for you. So just like Ajax or Bunny, Luna has a special resource bar. It's called her inspiration gauge. And in order to build inspiration gauge up, you need to activate her abilities on beat. See, underneath her mana bar, I got one little green tick that goes up to full every time we activate a skill on beat. And the music changes, which is fun. And then you keep building it up in order to get it to max. Once you get it to max, you get to use an enhanced version of your abilities. In order to build it faster, you can always use your ult, which is your 4, and then shoot on beat to build it up even faster. And once it's max, you get to activate an enhanced version of that skill. Let me explain what the enhanced versions of each skill are and what each skill does. I just wanted to go over how the inspiration gauge worked, so that way you're not confused when I am reading out what the abilities do. Alright, so now her abilities. Her 1 is her weapon. That's the rhythm game, and every time you hit the perfect pitch note, you get 1% skill power modifier increase, and it goes up to 25 stacks. Now, each time you activate one of her abilities on cue or on beat, you get an extra 10 shots. You essentially have this up forever. This gun only goes away if you run out of shots or if you run out of mana by missing a bunch of perfect notes. So very easy to keep the gun up all the time. Her 2 is the skill power buff. So you get a 20% skill power increase for yourself on the regular cast. And when you're enhanced casting it, when you have the full inspiration gauge, you get a 65% skill power modifier increase. Now that just goes towards your weapon. But for your allies, which is the exciting sound, they get whatever your max MP is times 3.5 as a skill power modifier increase. So if your max mana is, I think my max mana right now is 300. So it'll be like 300 times 3.5%, which is how much your allies will get on a regular cast. And on your enhanced exciting sound cast, it'll be your max MP times 7.5, which is over double. So it's a pretty big increase. I'll probably try to show some numbers a little bit later in the video. But my friend was doing almost double damage when he had that buff. So what you want to build on her, if you're going to really buff your allies, is going to be MP. Her 3 is going to be what? Mana recovery. So on your regular cast, MP recovery, you're going to be 0.8% for 14 seconds. You can't increase the duration of that for yourself. An enhanced version, you get 4.3% with a 14.5 second duration. You can't increase that duration either. But you can increase the duration that you give to your allies. So it's also going to be your max MP times 0.7 per 1 second. And then which is the recovery. And then for the enhanced relaxing sound, when you have full inspiration gauge, will be your max MP times 2.6% per second. So you can give your allies a whole lot of mana recovery. And for her 4, it's going to be her ult. This one, when you activate it and you shoot an enemy, your inspiration gauge goes up quicker. And if you have it, if you use the enhanced version of your ult, you'll get 2 gauges for every time you hit an enemy. So you'll be able to cast your next enhanced ability a lot quicker. Mind you, I don't ever see it in a scenario where you're going to need to cast this ability other than to instantly get rid of your partner's cooldown or your teammates' cooldowns. Like just tell everybody to like gather up and then they'll get rid of all their cooldowns on the enhanced cast. Like if you're running with a Blair and they just use their ult, you can instantly give them their ult back. Or a Lepic, if they use their ult, you can give them mana regen to get their mana back and then instantly cool down like their ult as well. Now when buffing an ally or being buffed by Luna, you can tell that you are buffed and which buff you have or gave by the colored orbs that are revolving around the Descendant who got buffed. So blue is the MP, red is the skill power, and purple is the cooldown. Now, one of the great things about Luna is that you don't have to be inside of her aura, her buff aura, 100% of the time. You can be outside of her aura after getting the buff for as long as her buff lasts. At base, it's 5 seconds, but if you get skill extension mods, it can go up to even higher. So you can go into her aura, get buffed, leave her aura, do whatever damage or whatever you have to do, go back into her aura to get rebuffed and leave again. You'll know when the buff ran out by the orb floating around you won't be there anymore. Alright, now let's start talking about her red mods. I have both of them to show you. So the first one we have is Nimble Footsteps, which is going to be the easiest one to obtain because all you have to do is fight Dead Bride and wait for it to drop. Granting a buff to allies increases Luna's movement speed and skill range. Now, you don't notice the movement speed at all. I don't think it's working, but you do see the skill range. So you take the skill range from this, all right, to this. Please ignore the lag. My game has horrible time trying to run this game and record at the same time. But as you can see, it's way bigger and you do not need to use skill expansion mods while using this red mod. Now let's talk about her other red mod that makes her a DPS, or at least a farmer, Noise Surge. Using the skill deals damage to nearby enemies but doesn't buff allies, grants a stackable buff to Luna that is enhanced with each stack. This changes how she is played completely and makes her a lot of fun to play. A friend of mine was able to get this mod by combining a bunch of red mods and he got lucky as hell. So shout out to Exalted Panda for giving me all this footage. So basically all of her attacks do the same thing. Now they all do AoE, the same range, the same cooldown, the same MP cost. The only thing that's different is the buff that each one gives her. Her 1 is exactly the same, it's still her gun. But her 2 gives you the Largo buff. Largo gives you a skill critical hit rate of 1% per stack and lasts 14.5 seconds, and the max stack is 26, so you can get up to 26% extra skill critical hit rate when you fully stack up the Largo buff. Her 3 gives you a skill critical hit damage increase by 1% for 14.5 seconds for the max stacks of 26 as well. So you can also get skill critical hit damage. This is her Crescendo buff. And her 4 gives you the Forte buff, which gives you a skill power modifier increase of 1% for a max 26 stats as well for 14.5 seconds. Now the great thing about Luna is she can use all 3 buffs at the same time. As long as you maintain the abilities and keep them up, you get 26% skill power modifier increase, 26% skill critical hit rate, and 26% skill critical hit damage, all at the same time, as long as you're keeping all of those buffs up and stacked. Another thing about this playstyle is every time you activate one of her abilities, she instantly gains 1 inspiration gauge. So you get that all the way to max. And once you cast an ability while it's completely maxed out for an enhanced ability, it gives you instantly 50% shield and 50% mana back. And the enhanced ability is that you get to ride this little hoverboard and pulse your ability constantly without using any mana. I think this is the funnest way to play Luna, and I can't wait to get this red mod for myself. So let's talk about weapons for Luna. They don't matter. They really don't matter at all. Fire rate doesn't matter because you're shooting on the rhythm. None of the damage or mods that you put on your weapons are going to affect the weapon that you're using, your unique weapon. That just goes up by skill power damage. So any weapon that you want to use when you're not going to be using abilities, which is hardly ever, you just run what you want to run. Which makes farming for your reactors very, very easy. All you have to do is get, the correct perks and damage modifiers that matches Luna's abilities. And once you find your perfect reactor, just match whatever weapon it's associated with to it, because your weapon doesn't really matter. All right, speaking of reactors, let's talk about it. So I already looked it up. So if you're going support, you're gonna want to go non-attribute tech. You can go to the corrupted zones or the destruction in order to get these reactors. And for support Luna, you're probably going to want skill duration. That way your allies don't have to run inside of your aura too much. And then you're probably also going to want either skill cost or tech power boost. That way your gun could do more damage and you can contribute more to the fight while, also buffing your allies. If you're going the damage, you're going to want singular if you have that red mod. And then as of this week, you can go literally to any 4 of these places, depending on which weapon you choose that you want to run. And it doesn't really matter, with Luna really. But with this, you'll probably want singular power boost or non-attribute power boost, anything that gets your abilities up. Even skill duration would be good, so you can keep your stacks up longer, stuff like that. If you guys got any questions, of what I think is better or what I'm going to be using, please just leave comments down below and I'll answer as best as I can. I will be having a fully maxed Luna by the end of the day or by tomorrow, because I have like 13 catalysts ready to just splat on her. So make sure you sub and turn the notification bell to see a fully maxed Luna very, very soon. All right, and last but not least, let's talk about her external components and which will be the best ones to run on her. I think the very best one is going to be the new set, because it was made specifically for her, the Hungry Sonic set. When using a skill, grants 1 stack of Efflux up to 50 stacks and lasts for 20 seconds. When using an enhanced skill, grants self 1 stack of Wave up to 10 stacks and lasts for 120 seconds and 10 stacks of Efflux. Wave recovers MP by 0.2% per stack when hitting an enemy with a unique weapon, which is your 1. And then at 50 stacks of Efflux converts to tuning, and turning increases your skill duration by 1.79% proportional to your max MP, and an HP heal modifier by plus 2.83%. So more skill duration, more mana recovery, and a HP heal modifier. For Luna, that's nuts. And this is by far the best mod that you can use on her. But as backup, if you don't have that, you can use the Slayer, which will increase her skill power by 26%. But that's if you're using damage Luna. Like, don't use this on support Luna. You definitely want to go for the hunger set, because this is by far the best set. You just gotta kill Glutton, which is the new boss, because you can't get this from anywhere else. But that pretty much covers everything you need to know about Luna, including all of her red mods, weapons, reactors, everything. If you have any questions, make sure you leave them in the comment section below. And for more First Descendant content like this, make sure you hit that sub button. I'm going to be making a max Luna, so stay tuned for that. It's been your boy C double G, and I hope y'all have a dope ass day. Deuces.